What is going on, everyone? It is me, attorney Hadi Harp, and this is another edition of Legacy Planning TV. Today I want to talk about another tool that could be useful for some people with their estate planning needs. Now, I don't want you to hear what I'm saying right now and think, okay, this is a solution for everyone, because it's not. There are a lot of reasons why some people might not want to use a Ladybird deed. But before we get into that, Ladybird deed, let me explain what it is. If you watch any of our previous videos where I talk about ways to avoid probate, I mentioned a transfer on death, beneficiary, or pay on death designation, transfer on death, whatever it is. You got a bank account, you got life insurance. There are some institutions that allow you to designate who that account should go to, who that life insurance should go to. And so in Michigan, you can do something very similar with real estate, okay, through what's called a Ladybird deed. It's also called an enhanced life estate. And so basically what you're doing with a Ladybird deed is you are transferring property from yourself to yourself for life, and upon your death you're basically saying, I want the property to go to this person. And so while you're alive, you have every right to use the property. And you know, if you're doing a real Ladybird deed and a real enhanced life estate, you have every right to sell the property, to do whatever you want with the property while you're alive. And all you're saying is, well, at the time of my passing, I want this property transferred to person X. So it's a popular estate planning tool for someone who's maybe a widow who has very little assets and just has a house in her name or his name, and so they want the property to pass to their children upon death. So instead of setting up a trust, okay, it may make sense, since there's not a lot of assets, since you've got adult kids, and so it makes sense to maybe just do a Ladybird deed that transfers the property from yourself to yourself for life, and then on your death it goes to your kids. But again, it's not right for everyone. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, some families, in some situations, a Ladybird deed could harm them. This is especially true when you have maybe a lot of kids, a lot of beneficiaries who might take over the house when you pass away. Because ultimately, if you've got 4 kids, okay, and you transfer it to them on their death, then all 4 of them are equally going to have a say in the house. So if 3 of them want to sell the house and one of them doesn't, well, that one kid who doesn't want to sell the house basically has a right to stop the sale. I mean, if they don't sign and they don't agree to sell, then you got a problem where 3 kids are fighting against 1 kid, okay? Or if you got kids who do get along, but you know, 2 of them are across the world or living in a different state, it becomes a little bit more difficult to quarterback the property. The same goes with maintenance. If you've got, 4 or 5 kids and the property needs to be maintained, there could be a lot of infighting between kids as to how to maintain it, who's going to pay for it, etc., etc. So for some families with those kind of situations where there may be more than 1 or 2 kids, or maybe they don't get along, or maybe one of them might need the house while the other ones want to sell it, for those kind of situations, you may want to consider setting up a revocable living trust, because then you can sort of designate one of those kids to basically make the decision for the benefit of all of them. And so it provides a little bit more flexibility. But ultimately, a Ladybird deed is a powerful tool in the right situation, in the right circumstance, because you're able to transfer property at your death without having to go through the probate process. That's it for today. I hope you learned something. If you want to jump on the call, as always, visit estateplanchat.com to schedule a free window for us to call and discuss things, any questions you might have. But that's it for today. Thank you again for listening. I appreciate you, and I will see you guys next time.